Hello, veteran outdoorsman here, and out here might be a little dark. Uh, sun's sun's just setting. Out here doing some scouting and trying to do a little bit of squirrel hunting, but squirrels aren't cooperating. It's getting dark and they're spooky and running around. That's fine. They're running all over the place though, 'cause the acorns are. There's a few starting to fall, and there's a few hickory nuts, a few walnuts, stuff they haven't had all year. But what I want to show you here is this is a strip of public land. It's only about 15 miles from my house. And what I want to show you, if we can get a little bit of, hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. What you want to find when you're going deer hunt on public land is some just out of the way spots that nobody really wants to get to. Now I'm only half, 3/4 of a mile from the truck. It's not unusual for me to go a mile, 2, 3 miles. But this really isn't that far. But what we have is where there's a bend in the road. I just kept going straight. And the road goes around and parallels the road's just a horse path. But it parallels the public gravel road. And a lot of people, you'll see a lot of boot tracks on that road. And a lot of people will go and they'll pick their spot within, say, 100 yards of the road. Well, a couple weeks ago, I came in here and I found some deer signs, some droppings and things. I found evidence of acorns. It was mostly old stuff from last year, but there was still a lot on the ground, which tells me these trees produce a lot. If the squirrels and the deer and the turkeys and whatever wildlife hadn't eaten them all yet. So here we are a month away from deer season. I wanted to check it out again and see if there was still deer sign. And there is. Fortunately, it's not really light enough for me to show you much, but there's droppings all over the place, which is good. I'm pretty sure it's mostly does, but early season I like to fill an antlerless tag, get some fresh venison in the freezer. And I'm not picky. If all I shoot's a doe or two, I'm happy. You can boil antlers just as long, and you can boil them for hours, put them in the crock pot. They don't ever get tender. You can't eat them. They don't even make good stock. So, just a few does don't hurt my feelings any. But what I want to show you is, hopefully you can see down in here. It's kind of dark, but there's a creek bottom down here, and a little draw going up this way, and creek bottom wraps around. There's another draw up this way, and you see it's pretty thick. So I saw a lot of deer sign up this hill, just about halfway up that hill. That's my pellet gun there. Just for safety, I've got it sitting there so I don't bump into it and knock it over or whatnot. And this is the kind of spot you're looking for when you're public land hunting. Out of the way, away from the road, a place that people can't see from the road. That's the important part. I can even sit in a tree here and people aren't going to see me from the road because it's way up that hill. I may hunt with a ghillie suit down here. Later in the fall or in the winter, I'll probably will hunt from the ground. More than likely early season, I'm going to hunt from a tree so I can see over the saplings and brush and things like that. One bad thing is this is public ground, and in Missouri, on these conservation areas, you're not allowed to you're not allowed to disturb the vegetation, clear shooting lanes and things. So I'm going to have to pick my spot real careful, but there's a lot of big oak trees, hickory trees, things that'd be easy to get a stand from. And probably in another 2 or 3 weeks, I'll come out here a few hours before dark with my climber and just sit till dark, maybe try to shoot some squirrels, but just sit till dark and see if I see any deer. It'll be with a pellet gun so that I disturb the woods just as little as possible, and that's why I brought my air rifle today. I wanted to disturb the woods just as little as possible. So I've kind of shown you what I'm talking about here. And let's walk a little ways back to the truck. This is an overlooked spot, but it's not that far from the truck. So let's walk back to the truck. And I think I just spooked a deer. It's starting to get dark, so that doesn't surprise me. I think I just spooked one off that way. We got a few weeks. That's not going to disturb them too much. But the exciting part was there's droppings, there's tracks, there's a little bit of turkey sign. That's good. I'm not a very good turkey hunter. I'm not real big on it either. But if I get one come under my tree during bow season, I'll certainly sling an arrow through it. Turkeys eat pretty good. So let's start walking back to the truck and kind of show you what I meant. And also you can time it, see how far it takes me to get back to the truck. Now this is mostly going to be uphill on the way back. That's fine. There's also a water source not too far back the direction I'm looking. And that's going to be good too. But that's on the map, and a lot of people know where that is. And it gets hunted pretty hard. So they tend to come that after dark. So I'm going to be on a travel corridor on the way to it. And hopefully get them while there's still a little bit of shooting light left. And there's lots of trees where I can move around. A lot of straight trees. Or I can move my stands. If I'm seeing deer in the morning and they're 100 yards from where I'm sitting, I'm going to get down, move my stand, and sit in a different spot in the evening. And I got a lot of options to do that. Looks like a pretty good place to sit. I'd like to show you some sign, but it's just getting too dark. But like I said, this is the kind of place I'm looking for, where the land just naturally funnels deer. And that's where the kind of places I always hunt. A lot of guys just go in blindly looking for sign. And if you find sign, that's fine. But I look for certain. And there goes a deer walking off that way. Honestly don't think it hurt me. I think it's just walking off. If it's too dark, I'd show you. But honestly, the first thing I do is look for the way the land lays out, and look for natural funnels. Then I get to those spots and I look for sign in those spots. And typically I find sign. A lot of guys, like I said, just roam around looking for sign. And some people just aren't really sure where to find it. Sometimes you get lucky. But, I mean, like I said, down that hole, even if I'm up in a tree, you're never going to see me. And we're not even to the path I'm talking about yet. We still got a ways to go. So, I'm only about maybe half a mile from where I killed a doe during gun season last year. And I apologize. I've talked about putting up some fishing videos, some hunting videos. And honestly, my phone's not good enough to do that type of video, and I'm just can't really afford a camera right now. So I do my videos with my phone. I don't edit. What you see is what you get. And I've got some editing software. It's not because I don't know how to edit or I don't have the capability. Honestly, the reason I don't edit is to just keep myself as honest as possible. If I get to the point where I'm videoing a whole hunt, I may have to take some footage out, don't get me wrong. But that's not what I'm talking about. I don't do strategic editing, anything like that. I mean, like I said, we're not to the road yet. No way you'd ever know that spot's down there walking from this path. That's what we're looking for. And I've been pretty constantly walking. I've stopped a couple times for just a few seconds. I'm fat and I'm catching my breath. But I've lost about 45 pounds throughout the spring and summer, and I feel better than I have in years. After I got out of the Army, I pretty well just went to pot and turned into a big old fat boy. And I'm still pretty heavy, but I've lost quite a bit of weight. I feel a lot better. I got more endurance. My heart don't just pound out of my chest climbing up the hill like we did. And this is the path I'm talking about. I mean, it's just horse trail. Literally a horse trail. There's tracks. People trail ride out here all the time. But like I said, you know, you're never going to see that spot. You go up the hill a little bit, then you go back down. You're never going to see that spot from the road. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for places where you're just not going to think to check. Now, there's some people who do the same thing I do. And they look contour and things like that. Which is why you want more spots than one. You want to be able to get in the parking lot. And if there's 5 or 6 guys, even just 2 or 3, and you know there's only a couple of spots to sit, cruise on down the road and find you another spot. Have plan. Don't just have plan B. Have plan C, D, E, F, G. Probably don't have to go all the way to Z. But if you do, you've got places for all season long. Now I'm going to do some more scouting. And hopefully I'll make another video or two. But point here is just to kind of show you what I'm looking for. My biggest success rate on hunting deer in timber, and this is, right now I'm in a pine plantation, but we were in a big stand of mature hardwoods, and my biggest success has always been finding a creek or something, you know, a long draw, deep draw, with a few draws going down into it, and sit at that choke point, because that's just deer follow the path of least resistance, just like water does. And water will hold in them bottoms too. When it rains, then it dries out. There's going to be puddles down there and stuff. There's going to be spots for deer to get water. There's going to be food down there. It's going to circle the water. There's going to be food. As the water accumulates, there'll be the acorn trees, the oak trees will thrive. The hickory nut trees will thrive. Walnut trees. Deer don't eat walnuts that much, but they will if there's nothing left. Even the hickory nuts, they eat the acorns really good. If I could find a chestnut, that'd be awesome. But down along that pond, there's blackberries, things like that, food source. There's just a lot of natural green growth that deer will eat on. A lot of browse. And I'm going to discharge my pellet gun real quick. And it's real quiet. I'm just going to shoot it into a log here. Okay. That way my spring's uncompressed. Although it's a air piston, my spring's uncompressed now. And I'm getting ready to travel home. No need to travel with my rifle loaded. So I'm back at the truck. It didn't take that long to walk. I really didn't go that far. Sometimes these spots are miles and they take a while. This place is heavy timber, quite a few deer, and a lot of hills and valleys and dips and draws. That creek bottom down in there travels kind of in a circle all the way around the place. And with the thick cover down there, and there's a cutover, clear cut, not that far, that was cut about 15, 20 years ago. And it is thick, thick, thick. And that creek and those draws go into that. Well, it's really too thick to set up in. You're not going to see me real well. But let me just close up here. It's too thick to set up in. Yeah, I mean, it took, 10 minutes to get back here? It's not far. Like, it maybe half a mile. I doubt it. Which is a lot closer than I typically hunt. This is close enough that I'm not even going to take my cart in. I'm just going to leave it locked up in my truck. And if I get a deer, I'll come back, get my cart, and I'll go get my deer. I do that because it makes less noise. And what I can do is I can bring my stand back to the truck and my bow and whatnot and get my cart and head back out there and get my deer. Assuming I get one, but I think I got a pretty good chance. I've got other places similar to this that I'm going to hunt, and then I've got some places that are in fields, crop fields, things like that I'm going to hunt as well. But when you're hunting mature timber, look for draws. Look for places that you can't see from the road. Look for places that people don't want to go into because it's way down a hill. It's thick. There's spider webs. There's thorn bushes, things like that. My arms are kind of cut up right now from thorns. Look for places like that. Look for places where the deer are going to feel comfortable, where where the people that are walking by aren't going to see them. They're going to feel comfortable. Look for places that are going to naturally funnel deer when they get spooked. I'm probably going to hunt this opening day, and when I get down in there, I'm going to get there at least an hour before dark, maybe a little more than that, and give the woods plenty of time to settle down. And as the people, my goal is to be the first person parked and the first person in the woods. And I want everything to settle down around me before people start moving into the woods. And once people start moving in, the deer are going to know something's different, and they're going to start moving down that direction, and that's what I want. And it's a spot where deer already naturally travel, and where they already feel safe. I've already found sign, trails, droppings, things like that. It gets on a little further in the year, you're going to find rubs, scrapes, things like that down there. It's going to be a really good spot. And I'll keep you posted, and if I do any more scouting, I'll take you guys along. But this is what I look for. When it comes to public land, that's a great spot. Like I said, it's a lot closer to the truck than I usually hunt, but that's the kind of spot I'm looking for. Well, this is Veteran Outdoorsman. God bless y'all. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.